On today's Locked On Texans podcast, we have the opportunity to talk to Jackson State's own wide receiver Keith Corbin. That will be a very interesting conversation. Can't wait to dive into that. And also, we hear from a couple of players today. Took the podium. Davis Mills, Kamu Gougier Hill. Players are speaking up for this coaching staff and this new culture. Sounds like winning may be in the near future. Don't know when, but it sounds like it's coming. But first, Cody, start the countdown.
You are Locked On Texans, your daily Houston Texans podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Wednesday edition of the Locked On Texans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm John Hickman, joined by Sports Illustrators Cody Davis, and a lot of fun for today's show, right? The Keith Corbin interview. All my family and friends from Bowman, I hope y'all check in for this podcast. Amazing young man. Had an opportunity to watch him play some high school football down in Westbrook. And so he's always been a great player. And now he has the opportunity of not only representing himself, representing Jackson State, representing HBCU, and the continuously fight, which I think it is, to get more of those players drafted, representing U of H, representing Beaumont, Texas, and the whole 409. So that's going to be, very interesting to say the least. But we got to dive into and start today's show, Cody, with hearing from the players. I want to start off with Justin Britt, who spoke on Pep Hamilton. Justin Britt said it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be more crystal clear in our assignments and upbeat. He was upbeat about Pep Hamilton becoming the new offensive coordinator. Finally heard from Justin Britt. And then Texans linebacker Christian Kirksey said that General Manager Nick Caserio is building a selfless team. He also continued with coming off a 4-13 season. They had a bad taste in their mouth from last season, and they're going to do something about it. Cody, you were there. What were your thoughts and takeaways from the players at the podium?
That for the first time since 2019, there is actually promise within this organization. And I say that because all the guys who spoke on yesterday, Kamu, Kirksey, Justin Britt, and even Davis Mills, they all talked about how this organization, they don't want to throw away last year, but they actually want to build upon that. And Christian Kirksey said something that really caught my attention. He said, yes, we did end the season last year at 4-13, but he said we still had a successful season because we had an opportunity to lay the groundwork of what we want this organization to be about. We laid the groundwork of what Nick Caserio is trying to build. And John, listeners and viewers, every single guy who spoke actually showcased why we've been saying here on Locked On Texans why Lovie Smith was the perfect coach for this organization. John, as you just mentioned, you really don't know how many wins this organization is going to get. Hopefully it's more than 4, but you can see that this is not the same laughingstock of the NFL that we saw last year and the year after. No, this is a brand new day for this organization. And by the way, Monday and Tuesday was the first 2 days of voluntary OTAs, and nearly every single player on this roster has been in attendance. Why? Because they want to make sure 2020 is not the same like the last 2 seasons. And really quick, before moving on, I do want to play this little clip for you. So many guys we had an opportunity to talk to ever since Lovie Smith has been hired. Talked about how Smith being hired actually played into their decision to re-sign with this organization. And I had a pretty fun exchange with Christian Kirksey, and I really want y'all to just take a listen to what he had to say.
It's kind of hard to say. When you have, a head coach, that's an important piece to the team. So I think the relationship that was built with Lovey, I mean, even offensive guys, Lovey would talk to, anybody, not just the defense. I think that's where it started, to see how guys, you know, meshed well with Lovey. And, like his track record, of him being in the league, and just, in my opinion, he's, a legend at coaching. We all know, like, his resume. But I think part of it is that Lovey came back, and I have that relationship with him, and I really can only speak for myself, but I assume that other guys may think that as well, that, he's a great person, great coach, and you want to be a part of that. And you want to be somewhere where you're familiar with. You know that guys are going to put in work and guys are invested, and I think that the guys that Nick brought back, he knows that they're all about ball. And like I said, it's a fine line between winning and losing, and our record didn't show like the work that we put in, but there was work that was, put in and some positive that you can take away from the season. And now it's just time to put it all together. So I think with putting Lovey as our leader, definitely, made guys want to come back. But at the same time, I think guys would still have been invested to come back if it wasn't Lovey, just because of the type of locker room that we had.
Now, I could say it and talk about it every single day, but when you hear from a player that Lovie Smith being hired as this team head coach is part of the reason why the Houston Texans were able to re-sign 16 players this offseason, says a lot about how much better this organization is in, John. I can't say it enough.
Yeah, and I think when we look at Justin Britt speaking highly of Pep Hamilton, and it wasn't necessarily, and this is just, I'm looking at how they're talking about the coaching staff. It wasn't necessarily just geared towards, oh, I feel better about this coach or whatever. We stunk last year. I took away more crystal clear in our assignments. Like those small details, hearing that from a Texan team that, quite frankly, at times during the Tim Kelly era, we questioned a lot about what is he doing with this, with the play calling, with assignments, what's going on. And so to hear that, I think that's a plus. Hearing these players who had an opportunity to kind of, I would say last year was a combination of regimes a little bit. The David Culley era, the short-lived David Culley era, but Tim Kelly still being a part of Bill O'Brien and that coaching tree, so that was combined, and it did create a whole lot of nothing at times. And so, crystal clear in assignments, hearing about what Lovie Smith is bringing to this franchise, and Nick Caserio what he's bringing to this franchise, all of that does seem to help this franchise trend in the right direction. Now, later in the show, we're going to talk about Davis Mills. And for all of you Malik Willis truthers out there,
it ain't happening.
It ain't happening.
Nope.
Man. So don't even worry about that. We're going to talk about General Mills after the Keith Corbin interview. All right. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that gives you the features of a $200 sunglasses for a fraction of the price. That means polarized lenses, well-constructed durable frames, and premium high-end finishes. Also, something you won't find anywhere else is Shady Rays' Insane Protection Program, right? Shady Rays includes a lost and broken protection on every pair of sunglasses. They will send you a brand new pair if you lose them, no matter what happened. Give them a try, and if you don't love them, you'll pay nothing. It's as simple as that. Plus, 10 meals are donated to fight hunger in America when you shop with Shady Rays as well. Exclusively for our listeners, head to shadyrays.com and use promo code Locked On to get 50% off or more on pairs of sunglasses. That's Locked On to get 50% off of 2 or more pairs of polarizing sunglasses at shadyrays.com. Thanks for making Locked On Texans your first listen every day. Now, here's a big announcement. Starting Thursday, April 28th, tune into the Locked On NFL Draft live coverage of the 2022 NFL Draft with all 3 days of real-time analysis from our extensive lineup of experts and insiders. And for those of you who are dying to know what your team, or who your team will take rather, catch the Odyssey and Locked On NFL Mock Draft Special, hosted by Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Matt Williamson of the Peacock and Williamson NFL Show, all week leading up to the first pick. Welcome, everybody, back to the Locked On Texans podcast for this Wednesday edition. As promised, Keith Corbin of Jackson State out of Beaumont, Texas. We got 409 in the building. Welcome to the show.
I
How's it going, Keith?
appreciate you for having me, man.
No, thank you for coming on the show. Man, wide receiver for Jackson State had a very great year last year. First in our lone season under Deion Sanders. And so we're going to have a great conversation today. I can't wait to dive into it. Cody wants to kick us off the right way, man.
Yeah, Keith, look, you played your final year of college football under the guidance of NFL Hall of Famer Coach Deion Sanders at Jackson State. How would you best describe learning under Coach Sanders?
Oh man, I would say, man, I feel like my last year was the best year I had. Not only because I had like 3 head coaches at University of Houston, but my last head coach was Deion Sanders, man. Like, who wanted to pass that down? And like just the knowledge he gave us to the game. You know, he played at the highest level, and just like being able to be a pro in his eyes. I feel like I can come to the NFL and I can produce just as high as anybody else is in this draft.
And I want to use that just a little bit. What are some of the lessons that you actually learned from Coach Sanders? And do you feel like you were a little bit more equipped to achieve success on the NFL level because you had an opportunity to learn from one of the greatest football players of all time?
I feel like a little bit, yes, but I would say I had achievements to being on the NFL level at University of Houston. That's always been my goal since I started playing football. But I mean, as a being coached by him, I feel like that was an extra boost for me because, like I said, he's, if not the GOAT, the greatest of all time, actually telling y'all like this kid can actually go play pro. So I mean, like that feeling, just getting him to actually give me a little more boost into my career and what I want to be as professionals. I mean, I think it helped me out a lot. But I mean, that's always been my goal to be a pro.
In 6 seasons, you played for 4 different head coaches, 3 at U of H, the 1 year with an interim head coach in Deion Jackson last year. Of course, we know about Major Applewhite, Dana Horgerson. How has each coach and offensive philosophies helped you with your day-to-day preparations and what you'll be able to bring to the NFL level?
They helped me out a lot. I mean, starting off with Tom Herman, I know that was my first head coach, and I know he had left us for Texas. I mean, he came in, he was great with X and O's. He helped me expand my game a little more. But when Applewhite came along, man, he gave me an opportunity as a sophomore, so I started a little early. But he helped me out a lot, man. Then Dana Hogerson came, and he took a hand. He's an offensive mindset. He the way he came in and approached us and told us, man, this is all about having fun and just being a part of a crazy offense like him and what he had at West Virginia. So that really just helped me open up doors more. So it was a great feeling for having all those coaches because they gave me some type of experience in each different way of this game.
And how do you use that experience to get ready for the league?
I just come out here and just show y'all what I'm capable of because I know they taught me what it's gonna be like being a pro outside of football, doing football, family issues, all the issues, just being a person. And I feel like I'm gonna use that and I'm gonna use my expectations a little higher with using that experience that they gave me.
What are some of the areas of your game that you feel needs improvement?
I feel like I can improve it in each part of my game. I know I'm not settling for less. I'm never satisfied. I feel like I can be better than what I am right now. But I mean, what I need to work on. Man, I don't work on that. I think I'm good where I'm at. But if anything, probably just being a little faster, being a little quicker, a little more twitchy. I know I'm a great route runner. I know I got good hands. I got good catching radius. And I feel like I just needed to improve on those little things and a little more of my game, I'll be straight.
Speaking of your ability to catch the football, your last season at Jackson State, you finished your college career with a total of 921 yards, 69 catches, 7 touchdowns. And out of the 13, 14 games that you played, you actually had an opportunity to record over 100 receiving yards about 5 times. So as an NFL prospect, at the wide receiver position who should be near the top of teams' draft board, especially teams like the Houston Texans who might be looking for a wide receiver. How much will, I guess if I could put it in this sense, the lack of recognition that you're getting is actually going to drive you to try to achieve a little bit more success in the NFL?
I mean, that lack of attention that I give, I feel like my chip just got bigger on my shoulder. I mean, like I had a great season junior year in Houston, but I mean, once I redshirted, everything kind of fell down, so I fell back down in the hole. But when I went back to Jackson State, I felt like I got that exposure again. But it's HBCU, so guys still looking over the HBCU. I still don't get how can organizations can look over HBCUs, man. It's a lot of greats that went to HBCUs. I'm talking Jerry Rice, I'm talking Walter Payton, guys like that. So I feel like that chip on my shoulder just got bigger because I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can do, and I know what I can do to help these organizations, anybody organization.
I definitely want to build off that question real quick. In your own opinion, what has been some of the most common misconceptions about HBCU talents, and how can you, as a player, because we hear from coaches and the alumni all the time, but as a player, how can that change?
I mean, I feel like games like what Deion doing right now. He's making every game televised for Jackson State. You guys starting to see number one recruits going to HBCUs. But I mean, like it was those lack of years that HBCUs wasn't playing on television like these Power 5 schools is. The competition, I feel like an HBCU can play against a Power 5 or Power 6. I just feel like we get the lack of attention of like social media, television and things like that. I mean, if we can get a little more to HBCUs, I feel like that can help the program to be what it used to be with these old greats that we used to have.
In terms of HBCU, go ahead, John.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you really quick about your high school coach, Kevin Flanagan. He once called you a special player. How's the relationship been since your Westbrook playing days, and have you guys been in contact during this preparation process?
I really haven't talked to Coach Flanagan. I mean, I seen him maybe 2 years ago. We was at a Cheesecake Factory. I had gotten a little touch with him, talked to him a little bit. But I mean, as far as the opportunity Coach Flanagan gave me when I first came to high school, I feel like he's the reason, and also Coach Peavy and the other staff, I feel like he's the reason that I am at this where I'm at right now. Like I say, guys, I was not planning on playing football until I got to 9th grade. And that's when Coach Flanagan, so he really helped me out, and he really opened doors for me.
Yeah, really quick. You say you wasn't playing football until the 9th grade. How were you able to succeed in a way that has you on the cuffs of going into the NFL in the next couple of weeks?
It's just always something I want to do. I always wanted to take care of my family, whether it was from football, basketball, baseball. I know I grew up playing baseball, but I mean, either way it go, I always had that same goal, man. Like my goal is to take care of my family, and if I feel this is the best route for me as football wise, this is what I'm gonna take. I mean, man, hey man, same thing as all a gamble, man. Life is a gamble, so I just gamble with it, and now look where I'm at.
We talked a lot about your coaches that helped you on the football field, but what about some of the lessons that they actually was able to help you off the field? I'm pretty sure Coach Deion Sanders had a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah, man, he tells a lot of stories, man. I can't really say much, but I mean, as far as preparing us for the real world, man. As far as like Coach Prime done with a lot of stuff, a lot of adversity, a lot of attention that got to Coach Prime. He was a swaggy man, women, all those things. He always prepared us in the right way. I can't really say much, man.
It's okay. We don't want to get you in trouble, man.
I can't say much.
We know one thing Prime gonna teach you: if you look good,
you play good.
Play good.
And
y'all look good this year, man. Y'all really did.
Awesome, Keith. Really quick before we let you go, if an NFL prospect was to run across Locked On Texans, and I know you're on a couple teams draft board, they're scouting you and everything, what would be your final pitch to that scout, and to get you to the point where they say, you know what, I actually want to take a chance on this young man?
I mean, why not take a chance with me? I went to play for Deion Sanders, man. I didn't just play with him, man. I didn't just play for him. I played with him. It's a lot of things like I want to say to tell these scouts, man. I have told them through a lot of interviews, man. I can be your number one. I can be your number two, but I'm also the guy that you can have on special teams. I know special teams plays a big role in this NFL life. To be that guy, I want to be that guy, that number one guy. And if it's not the number one guy, I would go out there and bust my foot on special teams.
Bust your ass. Bust your ass. There we go.
Yeah, John got you covered.
Purpose of what I learned from Jackson State and also from Houston.
I got a rapid fire question. I'm gonna throw these questions out there and you gotta choose. You ready?
Yeah, come on.
All right. You from the state of Texas.
Yeah,
Texans or Cowboys? Who you got?
Cowboys.
You gonna answer that as
Oh man.
on Locked On Texans? You go really? Oh
Well,
my
let's
gosh!
keep it going. Let's keep it going. You got Kicking Chicken or John Seafood?
John Seafood.
Man, this the one right here, y'all. All right, Tony Brown or Enos Gaines?
People have John Seafood, so they really don't know what we're talking about, John.
Me and you know. Me and you know. Everybody from Beaumont, everybody from the 409, when they watch this podcast tomorrow,
Yeah.
they gonna know exactly.
Hey,
what
look,
we
before
talking
we
about.
end this, y'all, Texans, no offense, guys. I would love to come play with y'all. I would love to come play an hour away from my hometown. Don't get the Cowboys stuff mixed up. I'm only saying Cowboys because my grandma a Cowboys fan. She listening to this interview right now. So I'm
Okay,
Grandma right.
cool. I'm gonna give you a pass this time.
All right, let's talk about some of the 409 athletes. Tony Brown or Enos Gaines?
Ooh. Man, I gotta go with Thump, man, in his games, man. That's my dog. That's my
Okay.
dog. I play with him, man. Hey, it's a true dog, man. Hey, came up. Hey, no many guys really know about in his games, man. We wasn't really a camp guy, nothing like that, man. That dude's a football player, man. Man's a
All
baller.
right.
I'm
We got PJ Locke or Kerry Vincent?
PJ Locke.
PJ Locke. Okay, we got Major Applewhite or Deion Sanders?
Man, Deion Sanders. Prime time, man. Prime time.
Prime time. Okay, last one. U of H or Jackson State?
Jackson State. D.I. love it.
There it is. There it is. Everybody, that was your boy, Keith Corbin, out of Beaumont, Texas, played for U of H and Jackson State. Before we get out of here, where can everybody find you on social media? Your Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want to put out there.
Instagram, Twitter, all the same _ Keith Corbin. I don't got Snapchat, man. If y'all want to reach me on Instagram and Twitter, that's my name, man. Thank you.
Awesome, sounds good. Keith, good luck with everything, man. We are rooting for you, and if you do get drafted by the Texans, I'm going to give you another pass that you came on Locked On Texans talking about the Cowboys.
Hey, man, it's just the goal, man. My goal is to get drafted. I don't care if it's the Texans. I don't care if it's the Beaumont Panthers, man. I just want to put on for my family in the town, man.
Cody, I was stopped at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I was stopped. You would not believe this. You want to know what that person told me?
What they told you, John?
Are you some sports guy from Locked On Texans?
What you said?
Well, yes, that is me. So I signed some autographs, and, took pictures with the kids, kissed some babies. And while I was leaving, he said, man, I want to stop you really quick because I want to let you know that you saved my life. I said, how did I save your life? He said, now I really enjoy Built Bars. Now, a lot of that story I kind of fabricated a little bit, but hearing someone stop me and let me know how much they enjoy Built Bars was insane, right? And one thing that he told me about it was their flavor does not necessarily change. He's getting the same taste that he would with a regular candy bar. So I want to let you guys know about all of the great things Built Bars have to offer. Number one, all Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. They are low calorie, high protein. You can replace your candy bar with the Built Bars. Most Built Bar contains 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually carries around 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and a dozen of net carbs with a lot of different flavors to choose from. Mint brownie, coconut almond, and for this month, white chocolate cookies and cream. Go to Build.com, use promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Build.com. What a great interview from Keith Corbin. Very fluid, very conversational, great back and forth. And it's kind of ironic that we talked with a wide receiver because now we're going to transition into the Houston Texans quarterback, with Davis Mills, who will need some weapons around him. And I think that whether it will come through the draft and maybe they reassess the free agency afterwards, Houston does need more players on his roster that can be explosive and that can be, I think, younger is a word that I would use as well, and that could do a multitude of things for the franchise. But we did have an opportunity to hear from Davis Mills at the podium, and two takeaways. Number one, Davis Mills mentioned that he thinks a lot of the growth he's made this year is the experience and getting those reps. A new offensive scheme this year. Hey, some more Pep Hamilton love. He continues with, but he's already seen the first installments. It's familiar to what he did in college, and then continued with. He said that he's able to process faster now and reading defenses and making decisions. He's excited to continue to improve. Cody, while you were there doing that podium press conference with the players, hearing that from Davis Mills, has that reassured you that at the very least, Davis Mills is primed to have a year where the Houston Texans are fully committing to him, especially after hearing Lovie Smith mention that he's a fan of Davis Mills in so many words?
Most definitely. That's not even a question. And what I love most about what Davis Mill had to say is the fact that Pep Hamilton is changing his offense into something that he is used to during his days at Stanford. And really quick, John, I do want to give you some numbers. Davis Mills last season at Stanford, 5 games, 2020. Of course, we all know it was cut short due to COVID. In 5 games, this is a young man who led his university by averaging 29 points per game, throwing for 1,508 yards, 8 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. So you telling me the Houston Texans have an offensive coordinator that is putting him in a system that he's already proven to be great in?
What? What?
Like, and
The lights
this is,
went off.
and plus, in addition to that, it makes more sense why it was more important for Davis Mills to go out there and get beat up throughout his rookie season, especially those first 5 to 6 games. But now he has the experience. John, I don't want to call him a franchise quarterback as of right now. I still think that might be a stretch. But I'm loving the fact that the Houston Texans are saying we have something here with Davis Mills, and we are putting him in the best situation to thrive in 2022. Now, if he goes out there and cause a big mess, then okay, definitely move on next year. But the fact that they're doing everything possible to get this man into the best possibility for success, we about to see something special out this young man.
It makes sense for a franchise that hasn't made a whole bunch of sense in their decision and coaching in the last decade. So we will definitely see. I'm just happy to I'm happy to see that Davis Mills is confident and he's able to be confident without looking over his shoulder. I think that will play a huge part in the success that he possibly can have for the Houston Texans this
And
season.
And really quick before moving on, I do want to say that on Monday, Coach Lovie Smith did fully endorse Davis Mills as this team's starting quarterback without no ifs and buts. And that was very important and very telling to me because when you go back and you take a look at what Nick Caserio had to say at his exit interview, when you go back and take a look at what Lovie Smith and Nick Caserio had to say during Lovie Smith's introductory press conference for his head coaching candidacy, when you go back and take a look at what these guys had to say at the NFL Combine, every time they were asked about Davis Mills, it was always, yeah, he did good, but now, Monday, no ifs, ands, or buts. 100% Davis Mills is this team's starting quarterback.
There it is. I'm John Hickman. Follow us on Twitter at Locked On Texans. Like us on Facebook. We are 5 subscribers away from 1,000. That's it. And all the glory and all the thanks goes to you guys out there. So continue to run those subscriber numbers up and follow me again on Twitter at John_Hickman12.
And as always, I'm your host, Cody Davis. Please remember to follow me on Twitter at CodyDavis_24. Once again, that's Cody, COTYDAVIS_24. We have more prospects in store for you guys, and tomorrow is going to be really special because we have a couple of guys who actually played for Lovie Smith during this time at Illinois.
Oh,
Can't wait for that interview. So that's going to be really, really fun. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, Peace.